As a case study, Shell has been affected. This was Royal Dutch Shell, trading worldwide as Shell is a British-Dutch joint venture multinational oil gas company whose headquarters are in Hill, Netherlands. The company was set up in the year 1907 when two rival groups came together, Royal Dutch of Netherlands and Shell Transport. The intention of the merge was to compare with another organization called Standard Oil since 1940s to 1970s. Shell effectively dominated the petroleum industry. The company further partnered with the world's largest commercial sea transportation of liquefied natural gas. And since then, gas has become an important part of the business run by Shell. Currently, Shell is the most successful organization within the oil and gas sector across the globe, and the largest investor in Qatar, having invested around US dollars 20 billion over the past decade. By the measurement of its revenue, and in 2020, it is currently the fifth largest multinational company in the world. The business fraternity across the globe acknowledges the success of Shell, where the year 2020 it was ranked 21st largest public company, and 2013 it was ranked the first in the Fortune Group. And in the light of the analysis, we use the Pestel analysis, and the Pestel analysis is used as a tool of situational analysis for business evaluation purposes, and is one of the most used modules in the evaluation of the internal business environment that is highly dynamic. A business interacts with the external environment and its operations, and external factors and are uncontrollable by the business. These are political, economical, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors. And these factors as follows. We shall start with the political factors, where we have the political environment factors include political stability and instabilities, political consequences, changes in government constitutions, changes in political and national policies, government actions, government stability, impact on government policies such as monetary policies, fiscal policies, etc. On business, the political environment is highly significant consideration to business, especially it is the foreign company, where in general political support is essential for the success of the market. A country may restrict its foreign business activities within the political boundary, which should be a greater concern. There are some solutions which may be used to overcome potential challenges in the political environment. And these solutions are as follows. We have political lobbying, agreements and contracts among national governments, obtaining the support of well-established local governments, local organizations, which local government supports, which local government supports, and etc. There are other many solutions that we may take on. Uh, you pause just Yes, the political pressures are highly considering a business that drives the key incomes to the country. Uh, with regards to the political factors, the organization needs to understand the taxation policies, labor laws, trade restrictions, etc. In the case study of the Shell, recently the governments are very focused on kind of hazards the oil industry can unleash and become of this concern. Shell has to make certain changes in terms of their strategies uh, and partnership so that they are able to address the concerns. However, Shell has been implementing many strategies and actively partnerships in climate actions. Um,
Um, Russian Fiera 2020, also under the style analysis, describes the economic factors and summarizes them as by saying that customers are kings to a business. These address the inventory capacity buffers, multi-sourcing mergers, acquisition, and diversification. The economic factors include situations that determine the product pricing, exchange rates, interest rates, as well as economic growth and inflation rates. All prices under Shell have generally experienced an exponential rise because of the increase in the cost of production, and one very important reason is the increase in the extensive investment. However, in all this, it is also important to note that investment in the energy sector is increasing, which is a very major threat since the natural reserves are already depleting. With regards to this, Shell has begun investing in other sectors and new projects aimed at exploring and extracting oil gas from natural reserves. Outside Africa, many countries are also starting to implement carbon pricing and taxes, which could have an impact on African countries dependent on oil and gas exports. The European Union's carbon border adjustment mechanism, for example, will require EU transporters to secure carbon certificates on imported goods corresponding to the carbon prices that would have been paid had the goods been produced under the EU's pricing rules. This shift is contributing to a widening gap between oil and gas company valuations and renewable energy company valuations. The cost of oil and gas production and products are expected to increase in Africa. Furthermore, we also bring to you social factors where Pireo 2020 also highlights these by bringing to us that the traditions, cultural aspects, norms, myth, religious values, beliefs are to be considered here. Ethical values, perceptions, and attitudes towards the business and the industry within the operating market should be considered. For example, prostitution, funeral parlor services, drugs may be legal, ethical, and encouraged in one business environment, but not in another. The business environment is linked with the cultural and traditional values of the country. Thus, adopting these cultural values is important for better performance, higher productivity, and achievement of growth targets. Moreover, the purchase behavior and consumer behavior are shaped according to the social, cultural, environmental factors that are highly significant. This has also forced the companies to be more responsible with their production sector. A very clear way in which Shell responded to these concerns is by advertising themselves as a responsible producer of the product who is also very committed. Then even mentioned that they used their waste materials to cultivate flowers. This is definitely rendered as a positive image in the minds of the consumers. Technological factors to be addressed will include agility, adaptability, manufacturing network diversification, adapting technologies to ensure reliance and stable supply. Looking at agility and adaptability, we would want to throw more light on building an adaptable and agile supply chain with rapid planning and integrated production. Shell should adopt aligning aligning planning with manufacturing in both private and government sector, which will lead a key factor towards driving greater operational speed and flexibility, yet a fully integrated solution still seems to be beyond the reach of many companies, and this will be a driver for increased revenues to the company. With regards to Shell, the organization has greatly benefited from technological advancements in the oil and gas sector. Technological advancement is a major addition that has made extraction efficient. Lastly, on this, technology has also been a vital part in the function of marketing, where online strategies have been taken on to make sure that revenues are increased. Social media and digital strategies such as marketing, emailing, SEO, GPS marketing have become a crucial and integrated part for this requirement. So Shell as a company is also investing in modern technologies like generating electricity from wind, solar, bioenergy, and renewable energy. Shell under renewable energy makes it easier to more efficient manage household energy by offering smart home technology, and this has helped to bring more fuel or other usable energies to households. They're also exploring alternatives to natural gas, such as heat pumps for household heating.
Next factors which we will have next are legal factors. The legal factors include laws that guarantee the safety of the employees. These include their rights as their rights, consumer laws, patents, antitrust laws, discrimination laws, and etc. Now, to Shell as a company, these laws and regulations can, can have a critical control of business activities. The next factor is environmental factor. Now, owing to the plight of climate change and the resource depletion, the environmental factors are of utmost importance. Shell contributes to nature-based carbon offset programs. These projects protect existing natural forest ecosystems, which absorb and store carbon dioxide.
This part B, have the opportunities and threats changed since 2026, 2016? How do you update this analysis? Yes, from around 2018, 2030, there is a clear recognition that the potential for the dramatic short-term change in the energy system is limited. But the period is also assumed to include the significant capacity building and technology cost reductions following for the 5-year National Determined Contribution (NDC) cycle of from the Paris Agreement, such that after 2030 deployment uh, can proceed as an accelerated pace to ensure a result. Then, on the opportunities, I have fuel efficiency, green campaign, franchise diversification, change in green policies. In diversification, diversifying business modes to emphasize customer-facing downstream opportunities, whereby the agreement which was made at Paris should be used as use the gas and as a complement in renewables. Then on green campaign, supporting the growth of decarbonization technologies for oil and gas to and the company and industry level, including carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Then we have the changes in the government policies. That is adopting climate-focused environmental, social governance, which will ensure that both energies transmission and expected need for oil and gas decades in as well. Then there is energy efficiency. That implies that efficiency is a factor in every part of the industry, of course, but the downstream specification technologies can make a big difference in the waste heat recovery technologies. Then we have the new trend in the consumer behavior have opened up the new market for the share. Hence, that organization can competencies can be a success similar as a product field. Thank you.
Well, I'm here to take you through the threats. And our threats are classified under, we have restrictions of government policies, demand and supply, regulatory economic crisis, diversification, and competitors. With diversification, the near future of the electric cars, many models of few buyers, electric and cars will still face restrictions from buyers. There is a threat of environmental and ecological pressure and restrictions on the oil gas sector. Over the past years, various governments have tightened up on the various environmental degradation practices by oil and gas industry across the country. Fines and penalties when caught in action. Another point talks about pressure from both supply and demand fronts. The U.S. petrochemical industry has a period of overcapacity relative to demand, which is adversely affecting the operating rates of many base petrochemicals. This has its primary roots in the previous investment cycle. We are also looking at the point of economic crisis. The fact that Shell is operating in numerous countries, it faces a higher exposure to current fluctuation, especially given the volatile political climate in the number of markets across the world. In conclusion, in a nutshell, thriving and leading the low carbon energy transition, the range of policy, investor and social pressure on the growth in case of oil and gas does not preclude a significant and vital role for the industry in the low carbon energy. The baseline of existing skill sets and the baseline of the existing skills and the resources throughout the industry to mobilize a new lower carbon forms of energy suggest that there may be opportunities for oil and gas companies, and this case shall take the lead. Thank you.
Displayed are the references for the research that has been given out in our presentation. Thank you.